Joining us now, Senator Ron Johnson of Wisconsin. Senator Johnson, chairman of the Senate Committee on Homeland Security and Government Affairs. Ron also serves as a member of the Committee on Foreign Relations. Senator, as always, we thank you for your time on Newsmax Prime.
Well, JD, how are you doing?
Doing fine, but we are very concerned because, as mentioned earlier, CNN was reporting that an airport insider helped plant a bomb on that that Russian jetliner that went down in Egypt. Do you put credence in that CNN report?
Well, we certainly need to be concerned about what's happening in the Middle East, and we need to be concerned about the threat that ISIS poses and other Islamic terrorist group poses to civilized society. So it's not going to surprise me if this thing gets traced back to some Islamic terror group. Shouldn't surprise anybody, which is why I've certainly supported President Obama's stated goal of degrading and defeating ISIS. The sooner the better, and my concern is this president doesn't really have a concerted strategy for doing so.
Senator, a Department of Homeland Security test of TSA security found officials missed 95% of bombs. The TSA chief says he'll improve the agency, but when you see a bomb, this alleged bomb, bring down a plane in Egypt, could something like this happen here?
Of course it could. I don't want to alarm anybody, but of course it could. That's always been our challenge, is that we have to be effective 100% of the time. They just have to do it once. They just have to slip through the cracks once. And I do not think we have the type of layered approach that really can be maximally effective. But it's going to be very difficult to be 100% effective. That's why we need to really understand the root cause. We need to find it. We need to destroy ISIS is probably our first line of defense of trying to keep this nation safe.
But to the point, that test done, Ron, 95% of the designated explosives get through, and TSA says it's going to make it better? Look, I'm sorry, but I look at Jay Johnson. He doesn't seem to be interested in Homeland Security. He seems to be interested in opening the borders. Who is going to be accountable, Ron?
Well, it does have to be this administration. It does have to be Jay Johnson. It has to be the new TSA administrator. And there's no doubt about it. What we have right now at airports, to a great extent, is security theater because a determined terrorist can defeat it. It's been proven. They have videos on how to do it, which is why we need a layered approach. When we held our hearing on this, the confirmation of Admiral Neffinger, who's the new TSA administrator, I talked about a layered approach where we utilize air marshals in a more policing format inside the bowels of airports to be looking for people working on the inside and investigating them and keeping eyes and ears on those potential problems. But also things like bomb-sniffing dogs. I know they're expensive, but they're incredibly effective, more effective than what we're seeing right now with the expensive machines we subject all of ourselves to. And by the way, I'm not opposed to those. There's certainly an impact. There's certainly a benefit to security theater, but we have to recognize that is not the be-all, end-all. That's not going to keep us safe.
Let me just say something here. You mentioned security theater. I want to make sure everybody understands the test involved fake bombs, but they were there to be detected by TSA in that 95% rate nobody likes.
Yeah, and I'm just curious, we've heard a lot of Republicans say that maybe they need to privatize security and not leave it up to the government. Senator, what's your response to that?
Well, listen, I'm a big private sector guy, but whether it's a private entity or whether it's the government, this is a challenge. Yeah, I don't know how you set up a foolproof security system within the U.S. We've already been pretty effective by just hardening the cockpits. I mean, there was a pretty simple procedure that went a long way toward providing greater security, but 100% security is going to be difficult to achieve. That's why I think the best thing we can do to try and keep this nation safe is actually accomplish President Obama's stated goal, which is degrade and defeat not only ISIS, but Islamic terror, and of course this is going to be a long-term project, unfortunately.
Let's bring it back home. You talk about hardening cockpits. We've still got trouble on the borders. You were in Central America. Are you concerned that terrorists are using our porous southern border to put cells in the United States?
I'm highly concerned. When we were down in Guatemala and Honduras, I heard a new term, SIAs. Special interest aliens. Now, a high percentage of those are Cubans because of our immigration policies that if you step on dry land as a Cuban, you're home free here in America. But included in that category now. They are being picked up. Syrians, Somalis, Pakistanis. Okay, why are they coming to America? I don't know. So no, we have to be committed to securing our border, which we have not been for decades. We've got to be committed to securing our border for national security, for public health and safety, as well as to solve the illegal immigration problem in this nation.
Ron Johnson, hard at work on Capitol Hill. As always, Senator Johnson, we thank you for your time tonight on Newsmax Prime.
Have a great night.
Thank you, sir. You too. Now, you heard what Ron had to say. Agree or disagree? Send us your comments. You send them to newsmaxtv.com/comments. Back to talk politics right after this.